Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and like the title says, Sunday dinner is what this video is going to be all about. So today I'm going to show you how I make my ribs. Okay, these are going to be some very juicy, very tender ribs and well seasoned. So right here you have my mom. She already cleaned the meat for me, and she's taking some vinegar and basically just washing it, making sure everything's all good, ready to go, and to get seasoned. So she's just running it around in the vinegar, added a little bit of water, cleaning the little flaps of the meat and everything, making sure that it's properly cleaned. Okay guys, so that step is over, and the next step is the seasonings. So for this part, I'm going to show you guys the seasonings that I'm going to be using to make this amazing juicy ribs. So the first seasoning that we have is roasted garlic, my favorite seasoning, and it's this one right here. And then the second one we have is garlic powder, which is my second favorite seasoning, and I use about that much. And then seasoning salt. I don't really use too much of that. I also use paprika. That's that really red one right here. And then I use a little bit of ginger for flavor. And then I use cayenne. Normally I use more, but cayenne is very strong and spicy. And then the last one that I'm going to be using is a McCormick. It's a brown sugar bourbon seasoning, and I use just about that much. And then of course I have black pepper and a little bit of salt. Okay, and then the next thing I'm going to use is this soy sauce, and this is actually a hot soy sauce. And of course I'm going to need a little bit of brown sugar. So after I finish with the soy sauce, I'm going to put some brown sugar on it. Okay, so for the first step, I put on gloves so that way nothing gets under my nails and I can really rub into the meat. I'm going to take some olive oil and put it on. That's just so that the meat doesn't really stick to the pan. Rub it all over, and then I'll flip it over and rub it on the other side. Make sure I get under that extra little flap. Okay, so after I've oiled the meat, I'm gonna add brown sugar, and I'm gonna rub that all over as well. Okay, so right here I'm gonna be adding all the seasonings that I just showed you. Right now I'm adding the garlic and herb seasoning, and I'm gonna be very generous because after I finish this I might just have to add a little bit more. But for now, these are all the seasonings that you saw on that plate. Okay, so now I'm basically just scraping out all the seasonings, making sure I got everything out of the plate and onto the meat. Okay, so like I was saying before, I gotta add my little extra seasoning if I don't feel like I've really covered everywhere enough. And you can add your own seasonings, you don't have to go off by what I'm doing. If you feel like what was in the plate was enough, you could just leave it as that. But you guys will definitely love the end result, so I would say to at least add a good amount of seasoning. Okay, so now that I've basically finished up all my seasoning, I'm gonna add that hot soy sauce all over. I'm gonna rub it in and then I'm gonna flip it over and add it to the other side. And this is better than using too much salt because you know soy sauce already has salt in it, but it actually gives it a different type of flavor that you wouldn't expect. Okay, so after I've made sure that all the seasonings on it, everything is all soaked in, I'm gonna go ahead and put some foil paper on it, and I'm gonna leave it in the fridge for about an hour to 2 hours, and make sure that it is fully covered. Okay, so after 2 hours, I'm gonna put it in the oven. Make sure it's preheated to 350. After it's been in the oven for about a good hour and a half, you're going to want to open it a little bit. Make sure that the meat is getting tender. If the meat is getting tender, then it's time to take the foil off and let it bake in the oven by itself. Okay, so you guys might be hearing my daughter in the background, but for this part, I'm gonna say that it's very juicy. You can see like the juices in the bottom from all the seasonings. And I like to just take it and throw it over the meat. Now that it's been about 2 hours, I'm going to take it out and I am going to put some barbecue sauce on it. Of course, it still has some of the juices, but eventually it's just going to be like dry because it is kind of like a dry rub that I did put on it. So I used a sweet and spicy barbecue sauce and I basically just rub it all over. So after I'm finished with that, I'm going to put it back in the oven for about another 30 minutes to cook. After 30 minutes, I'm going to take it out and you guys can see how amazingly hot and juicy and tender that rib looks. Just look how you cut into it. It's literally falling off the bone, okay? It tastes amazing. And on top of it, I also made my specialty cornbread and my green bean casserole. So if you guys love this video and you like how I made these ribs and you want to know how I made the cornbread and the green bean casserole, just stay tuned for the part 2 video that includes the sides. Come on guys, just look at that. That looks amazing. It was so good. It was literally falling off the bone. Okay, and this is the finished product with everything that I made today. If you guys like this video, please like, subscribe, share, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching.